Hello everyone, welcome to Blue Dragon Universe, and this is the Blue Dragon Actuarial YouTube channel. So this video has been pending for a long time. Actually, I was not in my working place. I was in my home, and there I was not getting the time to create this video. Now you'll see much more regular videos. In fact, we are also starting an initiative on Vedic maths. Maybe we'll start that from February. And if you are following our LinkedIn page, by the way, LinkedIn page, the description to our website, all is present in the description. So if you just go in the description section of this video, you should be able to see all of those, right? And especially if you are preparing for papers, now we also have the lower paper, that is CM1 and CS1, in addition to SP1, SP2, and SA2 and SS7, CP2, CP3, right? So in addition to those paper, you already have those, so you can check those in our website. And there are a few extraordinary course that like IFRS 17 and the actual inner engineering where you are taught on actual software. So all these are excellent courses that you can use and update your knowledge. So without further ado, let us come back to the topic. And this is something that I've seen repeatedly, and I think that I should make a video on this because there are many people who like to share that. I'm thrilled to share that I'm the youngest actually. And I am actually at the age of 20 or 21 or 23, and I just wanted to kind of go into the details of that, whether it will benefit you, whether it is going against you, right? So an unbiased view basically on that. And of course, you are free to comment on that. You need not agree with me, but of course, if you have fact that you can present, you are free to write that in the comment section. And I think we can also learn from you in that method. So this is something that I've seen, and especially since the result is now out, this is something that everyone kind of says. And maybe someone can also mention why you guys always write, I am thrilled to share. Why is everyone has this same, kind of starting sentence? Is this something that LinkedIn is kind of sharing or suggesting? But I don't know, because I see every people, kind of sharing the result coming with, I am thrilled to share, right? So I don't understand that. So is that beneficial for you? Right? Is it adding value to your LinkedIn profile or your social media profile? That is what we are going to discuss. And those points, the sharing of the results and those points will also be discussed. But along with that, I think the main point is youngest actually. Now there are a few people who like to show up that I am the youngest actually. They are beating their trumpet, and that is why you are seeing the picture of the trumpet here. So they are beating their trumpet that they are the youngest actually, like they have achieved something big. So that is why we need to kind of share and discuss that. Is that sort of kind of important, right, to share? So moving on, this is how, as I mentioned, this is how they unleash their talent in social media. They beat their trumpet and they try to show that they are superior to others, because they are the youngest actually. That means that you have done it faster than others, so obviously that would mean that you are superior to others, right? So that is what they try to do in the social media. So is it benefiting you? Or whenever you are sharing your marks, like I've got 85 in CM1 or 95 in CS1, is it benefiting you? That is what this video is about. So this is the question: does that help in your job? Maybe you are getting job because of being a faster actually. Is that helping? And I don't know, because if I have taken a lot of interviews in the past, I'm still in the process of taking interviews. But if I see a CV with that, I'll not be bothered about that. And there is a reason about that. But I think in job, I don't think that is benefiting. If you're already in a job and if you are the youngest actually, your performance in the job matters. Even if you are the youngest actually, you have scored 95 in CM1, but you are not able to solve real life problems because those are quite different from that is given in books. So then that will not help. So if that does not help in job, that is not going to help you obviously in your salary and your promotion, right? So if you are just the youngest actually, if you are just actually at the age of 21, that is a mental stress reliever for you. That is for certain, that you do not have to write exam. You can spend that time adequately in something else. Maybe you can spend that time in learning things in your job. But if that is not translating in a good or quality experience in your job, then it's not going to help you in increasing your salary. You are not going to get promotion. probably people have more expectation from you because you are the youngest actually. And then if you are not performing, or even if you are performing at an average level, which is like others, because you have just beaten your trumpet saying that I am better than others because I am the youngest actually, I like to show that off in the social media, they will have additional expectation out of you, and that will create more challenge for you. Will it help in switching? Youngest actually, maybe your CV will get shortlisted if you put that in the in the in your CV. But then once again, you might have difficulty if you do not have the knowledge, because once again you have created higher expectation, and if interviewer ask you a question which is much from a much deeper kind of work area, and if you are not able to explain that, or if you are not able to give a satisfactory answer, then that would not help you in the interview as well. And finally, does it help in social media status? This people think, oh, this is the youngest actually, so whatever this person is going to say, that person, that is what is the like the Bible of actually, that person is like God of actually. Is that going to happen? I don't think so, right? Maybe it will create an initial impression, but once again, it will fade away. So anything that you are showing off, anything in which you are not consistent, right? So suppose I if I say that one day I made a profit of say 10 lakhs in stock market, right? And I put that in the social media, right? So it will create an initial, kind of impression that, yeah, this person knows something, right? That person has done something, that this person knows something. But eventually, if I keep on making losses and I wipe out that 10 lakhs that I've made, and I, incurred another 10 lakh loss, then that will slowly fade away. So any show off would fade away. What will remain is consistency. If I consistently show that I'm making 1 lakh every day, right? So consistency always overpowers in the long term, overpowers over the show off. So if I show that consistently I'm doing something well, if I show that consistently I'm clearing papers, consistently I'm improving my knowledge, consistency is the key, right? And for showing consistency, you have to be very disciplined. It's very difficult to do so. I know many people who are very talented but not disciplined, and that's why they have not reached the level they should have reached. So that is how it is, right? So social media status would not come from this, especially from a certification. If you are, or if you get this, I don't think institute give you acknowledgement or writes your name as the youngest actually, but even if they does, if you get a certification, social media status would not come from that. Yeah, of course it will come if you have money, if you have wealth, if you are able to maybe create jobs for others, of course, then you get the social media status, right? Or you are consistently delivering, like maybe Virat Kohli or MS Dhoni when he was playing, consistently delivering. So that's why you'll have the social media status. You'll get all the wealth and everything else. Consistency is the key. Show off is not the key. Show off is not going to help you. So overall, we can summarize: it's not helping you. Maybe some you know, initial fireworks here and there, but it is not helping you, right? And the reality is, whenever you are making that claim that I am the fastest, actually I've scored this much marks, the reality is the system and everything else is kind of focused on making you a faster actually. The marks that is given is supposed to be higher. The percentage of passing is supposed to be higher these days, and that is the reality. You are not on your own. Yeah, of course there is some talent that you have, for which you are the faster actually, as compared to others. So that definitely some talent is there, but the system is designed to make you faster actually, and we're going to see why I am calling that, right? But suppose you may not trust me, you may say that you are lying. So let us look into some facts, and we're going to start with a psychology, right? So if you do not trust me, and as I mentioned, you are free to write your comment in the comment section why you don't trust me, but you have to back that with facts, like I'm doing right now, right? So you may not trust me. That is absolutely fine. You might have a different viewpoint, and that is absolutely fine. But let us look into some facts, and we are going to try with a psychology lesson. So something we call Patwari effect. What do you mean by Patwari effect? Patwari effect means that people who are government officials in the in the historical time, not I mean in the time period when India was under the British rule. So they used to kind of influence or impact the grassroots level decisions, right? So how they can do that? Suppose someone is a vice chancellor has come from British, and they would say that this is a very good person, and this person is is going to help Indians, or help them grow economically, because they were senior officials, because they are senior to them, or they are at a good status, right? So people who are at grassroots level would get influenced by them, because they would want to reach their level. So whatever they are saying, without any thought process, without any because basically they are following the herd, right? Someone at a higher level has created an decision, or has created a picture which may not be correct, and in this case which was not correct, right? That is why it is called Patwari effect. And people at that point of time from India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, they used to believe this. So this is like, you can Google about this Patwari effect, or you can also learn more by, maybe you can just do a chat GPT search, and you can find about this, right? So that is what is Patwari effect. And the same thing is happening with the actual students. What is happening here is, someone has stated this, like, or someone has wrote that in the, kind of LinkedIn, and the others are just copying them without thinking that, is it benefiting me? It's just a copy paste herd mentality, and unfortunately, I've not even thought about whether it is benefiting you or not, right? And by the way, this name Patwari effect is just a historical name, right? It has no connection with anyone in the actual industry, or in the actual coaching industry. I don't want to target anyone. It is just how it is. That is what it is called, Patwari. Patwari effect. You can, probably Google or use the chat GPT. So this Patwari effect is actually, kind of forcing people, just because they want to be acknowledged in the social media. This, concept of instant gratification, that I have scored this mark, this is good, so I'm going to share that. But if I scored something poor, then I'm not going to share that. Or some people are even doing that as well, right? But these are just personal information. You need not tell that to the world. It is not going to help you in any way, which is what we are going to see later. Why you are, why I'm saying that you are, the system is designed to make you faster. Actually, the main reason is, like, in our time when I was writing the paper, when I started, then you cannot write CA2 or CA3. And right now it is called CP2 and CP3. So I have gone by the current terminology. You cannot write CA2 and CA3 until and unless you clear the CT series. And for writing CA3, you have to clear CA1 as well. So in this time it is called CP1. But right now those restrictions are removed, right? So I think those restrictions got removed from 2019. And before that, you could not write CP2 or CP3, right? And I think the restriction on CP2 got removed a bit earlier, but the restriction on CP3 got removed from 2019, if I'm not wrong. So right now, you cannot, you just cannot, I mean, at that point of time, you just cannot write CP2 and CP3, right? But these are easier papers, these are practical papers, these are easier, right? And I think it's much easier to pass this paper if you have some common sense. And yeah, of course, we tease this paper. So I cannot give you the, the fundamentals of it, how you can clear, but of course, it is much easier. So and right now, CP1 also you can write without passing the initial paper. So earlier there was a rule that you have to first clear all the initial papers, then only you can write CP1. So imagine this, that first you have to clear all the 9 papers, then you have to clear CA1, and then only you can write CA3, right? So the time, and CA1 or CP1 is the toughest paper in entire. Actually, I have mentioned this before as well. Essay paper does not even come close to CP1. The material, the volume of the paper is huge, right? So I have already made a video on which paper you should write first, SP2 or CP1, or SP1 or CP1, or any SP paper or CP1. You must see that video if you have not seen that video. There I've discussed this in detail. The volume, the level of information that is given in CP1 is just huge. And it is very difficult for someone to kind of start or clear CP1, right? At the start, and then, that is why it will take some time. But these days you can write CP1 along with CP2 and CP3. Is much easier, right? Higher passing rate, and IAI has lost a lot of revenue from IFOA, because people have just moved to IFOA, those who can afford, and especially because there is study policy. These are kind of, kind of, uh, the company's fees for this, right? And because of that, people have moved to, especially those who are working people, have moved to IFOA. So I was forced to increase the passing percentage. In our time, SA2, which is a paper that I have to clear yet, but at that point of time, for 10 years, that is 20 attempts, SA2 has a passing percentage which was below 10%. Once again, I made a video on that long back. SA2 is such difficult. Same goes for SA3, right? So India has done that in the past. They have deliberately kept the passing rate low as for some ego satisfaction or something like that. And then now they have higher passing rate. Now they've moved into MCQs, right? Which is where the degradation of actual student has happened. It is not that actual students, MCQs are easier to clear, but you can guess, right? And earlier in our time, we used to get graphical questions. We have to write a lot. So now clearing paper is much easier, right? So that is where an actual student today clearing paper has to work much less hard as compared to a person who was clearing papers earlier, and that is visible in the real life scenario as well. Actual students who are coming up these days are not as talented as people who are used to be, and that is a major concern, and that is something that is going to hit this industry in next 5 years. Of always exceptions are always there, right? But I mean, that is, I'm talking about general sense, right? There is multiple exam attempt. Once again, India has done that because they have lost so much revenue for the lower papers. India has done that because it is MCQ. Now you can, there are four attempts, and in fact there can be six attempts as well. And if the higher papers also became MCQ, then there can be four attempts or six attempts of higher papers, right? So institute itself is telling that papers are just rudimentary things. Just get it done with, and we are happy with that. These days, I have seen percentage more than 90%. In our time, I think CS2, which is CT4, has used to have 4%, 5% passing rate. When I passed that, I think it was 4%. And these days, I think it is more than 40, 50% in India, right? So I think this is how the system is designed to give you a faster passing rate and maybe higher marks, right? All of those, because this is how the system is now created. And you will see these days today, maybe a person is becoming qualified actually at 21, 22. you know Maybe in few years we'll have someone who is qualified actually before 18. But the problem with that approach is actually is a professional qualification. So if you do not have the professional experience, and if you are just an exam qualified, actually it does not mean much, because once again, the materials that you have studied, those are outdated by a decade at least. We do not work on those materials. There is no annuity factor, assurance factor by which we calculate the reserve, right? And there is no Ito's lemma or Brownian mission by which we can operate in the stock market. Those are just rudimentary concept, not needed anymore, right? Those are outdated. And of course, there is more awareness, even though many coaching centers are saying 1 crore package, but there is more, awareness. There is more, maybe many people are conducting seminars, webinars, which are helping, in promoting this. Even IA has gone to uh, school students, which I don't agree with, because you do not have the maturity at that age, but they have done that. So that is increasing awareness. I've got, queries from people who are in class 5 or 6, or their parents. They want to start actually early, right? And it's a disaster if you ask me. But this is how current II management is thinking, and they're doing what they want to do, right? We can't stop them, neither they can stop us from spreading the reality. So that is how it is, right? So moving on, of course, if you mention that in your CV, you will be judged. Do not worry about this character. These are just AI generated. So you'll be judged in your interview because, as I mentioned, you have tried to showcase that you are different from others. You know more than others, and that will put additional pressure on you. They will ask you more tougher questions, and if you cannot reply those reply to those questions, or if you cannot answer in depth, you will be judged and you will not be kind of selected, right? So it is actually harming you if you put something, or if you try to show up, because people know that these are outdated. Anyone who has worked in the industry for some time, they know that they are not working on what concept they've learned in the book. It is the starting point, but whatever they are working on is completely different, right? So that is where you need to be very careful. So what you should focus on, real knowledge. As I mentioned, books are outdated by a decade. People ask me which is the most outdated paper. I will say SP5, most outdated paper. People who have cleared that paper, I mean, I don't know. I feel pity for them. Not needed at all, right? It's most outdated paper, and probably the most updated paper is SP5. And also, I'll say SA2 is quite updated, right? But in the other things, I think people are you know, books are outdated by decades. So what things you are focus should focus on? First is IFRS 17. Like we have a course in IFRS 17 because we recognize these are real knowledge, right? But are people registering for that course? Not much, right? Every session we do this every 2 months, right? So this time it will happen on February 14th or 13th, I believe. You can check our website, right? So we'll get two registration, three registration, six registrations, not more than that, right? So these are real knowledge. People are not interested in that. People are still influenced by that Patwari effect. Then they would clear papers and they'll say, I'm thrilled to share. But problem is the industry is not thrilled to share that you have kind of got to that level or you have scored 85 or you are the youngest actually. That is the unfortunate truth, right? Actual software, you need to understand about actual software, especially if you are working in the life insurance domain and if you want to work in the life insurance domain. For general insurance, this is not that important. Industry knowledge, I have seen people knows the definition of reserve, but they do not know what happens to reserve when mortality increases. In what case reserve decreases, although there is an increase in mortality. People just do not know this answer. They have scored 85 or 86 in CM1. They do not know if annuity is a life product or a pension product, right? So this is the reality of actual students. I know because I talk with many people, I interview with many people. So this is where you need to understand. We have already created courses for this actual software. We have actual inner engineering course. It is done every month in the middle, like around this time, 13 14, right? Industry working knowledge, you have created a course called Sparkle One, that is especially for freshers who are struggling in interviews. So you can check that as well. And we are going to bring Sparkle 2 and Sparkle 3 and go higher into the the life insurance. It is our job to create those courses. Those people who are kind of interested, they would kind of purchase those and get themselves updated. So that is what is important. Artificial intelligence, the most important thing. Nothing would be relevant in 2 years because artificial intelligence is coming and you need to know artificial intelligence. By knowing artificial intelligence, I mean that you need to be a creator of artificial intelligence, not a user. It's not like you generate a photo and say, yeah, I know artificial intelligence. Like you see those ad, I am a chat GPT and AI tool expert. That you are expert of nothing. You are just expert of marketing and advertisement, and you are just a model. So you have to, if you want to know about artificial intelligence, you have to go deeper into maths. Recently, I've done a 1 year course in artificial intelligence. Does not amount to much. I am not going to, like, my knowledge right now is bookish, right? So I have to read multiple things. I have to go much deeper. I have to create something before I can call myself an AI expert, right? So I'm working towards that. Are you working towards that, or are you just happy to be the youngest actually? Then in 1 year, it is just a tag, and that would have no relevance. So this is where I wanted to say that do not follow the herd. And I know that many people will still not agree with this. Many people will still follow the herd because that is where the comfort lies. But if you want to get out of your comfort zone, think of creating your own herd. That few people are following me and they are following me because of who I am, not because what the society tells me to do. So with that, I close this video. I hope you understood the concepts that I am trying to kind of portray, and you're not getting influenced by the Patwari effect. And then that's it. And if you have any comment, you can write that in the comment section, and do check out our courses and the LinkedIn page. Follow that LinkedIn page because all the updates about our courses is going to come there. See you in future videos.